Welcome to No Strangers Attached Street Ministry. Well, got the van running. As soon as I put it in, the coil for the clutch assembly had burned up. There's nothing that I could have caused that. I don't know why. It did what it did. But it ran for about 5 minutes and then melted it back down. It's just typical. I'm out at DCF right now out in Arcadia. I brought one of my girls out here to see if we can start visiting her children and hopefully be able to get her family back together. The kids were with her husband and they've been separated. And apparently his girlfriend got in trouble with some drugs and passed out at a motel. Their young children right there in the room with them. They started crying. So it raised some suspicion with one of the ladies there at the hotel. She called the police on them. They come in and arrested her. Anyway, they did a research and ended up taking her kids away from them as well. She was just going through her troubles and trying to get clean. So it was a pretty hard struggle. She didn't have a place for a home for them at the moment. So she ended up losing the children as well. And now we're trying to get her back together. There's about 4 of them that's we're trying to get together and rent a place, but rent down here is just so crazy, man. I mean, it's getting almost ridiculous. I mean, it's like $1,800 a month for a 5-bedroom house, which isn't bad really. But the thing is, I mean, they're also going to have 5 of them in there to be able to sort of, all of them pitch in and help together, and then they got, of course, they got food stamps and all other kind of assistance, and once you get your kids back, you'll have financial assistance. But right now, with COVID going on, it's been pretty tough for everybody. I mean, it's been crazy doing anything. Everything's like 10 times harder now. Drove this van out there and get halfway across here, and it started wigging out on me. It's just getting like electrical problems somewhere. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, it just died right as I was going down the highway. Pulled outside the highway and tried turning it on 3 or 4 times. It just would it'd start up and then would die. It'd start up and then it would die. And finally, it started up and we took off again. And of course, at that point, she was like really freaking out because this was her only chance to get out there. They was going to quit giving her rights to see the kids, because they say that she wasn't showing up. But it was just, hard to get here. But it's like 70 miles in that. I mean, I've been on the road. I'm at 72 miles, and I've just got here from my house to go pick her up, come all the way out here to Arcadia, and then I'll have to turn around and go all the way back. So it's going to be 140 miles just for me round trip, which is crazy right now. I mean, you're talking $5 a gallon of gas. I mean, I put $50 in there, and it didn't even give me a quarter tank. It's crazy. But I guess that's another thing we're going to have to go to. I think I'm going to try to locate me a electric bicycle. So if any of you e-bikes out there want to sponsor the channel, I'd be glad to do a product review and maybe even start a video series on e-bike travels and try to, just see what all we can come up with creatively on that. But that's about the only way I'd ever be able to afford one. Apparently they're like, they go everywhere from $700, I think, I found, which was just barely an e-bike, all the way up into the thousands. I mean, I think it was like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for some of them. But the average is probably around 1,800 to 2,000 range, I guess, But I'm out in a rural area, so for me to use one, I'd probably end up having to get 2 batteries, for it, to be able to make it worth going somewhere and doing something with it. But it's just a thought. I mean, but hey, it's, you know, this gas is just getting ridiculous. And if I get the big van running, and to go 200 miles, it costs me, that's 31 gallons. That'd be well over $200 probably, you know, just to fill that thing up, which is, it was already breaking anyway, back breaking. But I mean, the vans aren't bad for travel if that's all you're doing is traveling and that's the only expense that you have. I mean, it's still feasible, and you know, it's okay to do that. But you know, for people that's living in the vans, things like that, I mean, it's making it a lot easier on them. It's still putting a burden on them as well, but you know, because they're not used to the prices neither. You surely are not traveling like you used to. That's come to a stop, especially in some of these big vans. You're probably getting what, anywhere from 11 to 17, 18 miles a gallon. And that's what, 200-300 miles. You know, it's not a whole lot for 200. You know, it's like $1 a mile, and it's getting up there so bad. Even the deductions off of your mileage on your taxes. You know, if you're a business, you know, you're still looking. You know, that's almost matching it now. You're not even making any kind of profit at all now. You know, so it's going to get pretty tough even for people on their taxes. This world is just going crazy, I'm telling you. But anyway, say a prayer for this one here. I mean, she just wants her babies, and what mother doesn't, you know? And she's really trying her best, and she seems like she's doing really well. She's got her life back together, sort of. It's been about 8 months now, and she's getting clean. An update on Christy. She's doing really well. She's actually in a halfway house, and we got her when she got out of back out of prison. We got her set up in a rehab center, and they put her through like a 6-month rehab center, and she cleaned right up, and then she went out and they got her in this halfway house, and she's actually getting her life back together. Been drug free. She's been tested. She got to go to drug court, you know, and everything every single week, so they test her every single week, and she's been doing very well. She's on her ability of possibly getting her kids back as well. The only thing she's looking for is housing as well, and that's when I'm thinking I might match some of these girls together, you know, to where they can help each other and work along together to be able to pay for this, because you can't do it on your own. It's just impossible. These girls, the only way they could ever afford that would be to go into the typical trades that you don't want them in, you know, either pushing dope or, you know, drug, you know, trafficking and all kinds of crazy crap that they have to do. Prostitution, you name it, you know, dancing, you name it. That's the only way that they can make the amount of money to where they can afford it. But it's almost like a catch-22 with them, you know. It breaks your heart, you know, to see them have to struggle so hard. I just wish there was more I could do, and it's making it even harder now, especially since I lost Jack. I mean, Jack was a major supporter for us. He had a bleeding heart like I do about, you know, about these girls. Us together, him and Charlie, we did quite a bit, and you'd be surprised, you know, what we turned over. My health, I'm getting back, feeling a lot better now. I went and had a chest x-ray, and I've got a touch of pneumonia, but I've been dealing with that. And I went in and saw my normal appointment, and I told the doctor, I said, I need an antibiotic, and she's like, yeah, well, we don't really give antibiotics out. You know, I was like, well, what's the reason for my doctor, you know, if I can't do that? Well, you got to go see a specialist. I'm like, I'm done with these specialists. I mean, every time I turn around, I got to do something with a specialist. I mean, I gotta come to you. I gotta spend $35 deductible for you to give me a referral to a specialist, and then I gotta make another appointment, drive to that doctor, and then I have to pay $85 for the specialist. These are just my copays, and then God knows what else. It's just killing me. I mean, these charges are just wiping me out. and everybody I know. I mean, it's just wiping us out because I'm having to beg, borrow, steal to get any of this done. I mean, this month alone, I was supposed to see 7 specialists and had to turn all but one of them down. I had to actually cancel their appointments. And when I went back in from my physical this time, I just told her. She says, "Well, how come I didn't get any of these reports back?" I said, "Because I can't afford it." I said, "My gosh, you're looking at that's $700 basically, for me to go to all these people you want me to go to." I said, "You're going to have to start being a doctor and doing the doctoring on your own, She said, "Well, that's not the way it works nowadays." And I'm like, "Well, then I guess I need to find someone that can do it, But it's all, it's just crazy how Blue Cross Blue Shield is. I mean, you shouldn't have to go through all that nonsense. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to blow off all on you guys. And that's my personal problems, and even though I try to always open up to you and tell you what my own personal struggles is as well, but I'll just sort of snuff a lot of that out, and it's not a problem. I just have to deal with it, that's all. But anyway, these girls can really use your help. If you could possibly help the channel out, that all will go straight to them for sure. Anything and everything that you could possibly throw our way, be greatly, happily accepted. I'm sure these girls will enjoy every little effort that you could possibly throw their way. It's like a gift for them. I mean, they've got to come up with 4 months rent now because of all the rental, that people has not paid. These landlords are getting crazy. It's no longer first and last. Now you got basically sometimes 4 to 6 months of full rent up front just to be able to get in, and then you only get a year contract. And if you're 30 days late, they're already starting, the eviction, cycle. So they're pretty tough on that. Can you blame them? No, you can't, because a lot of these, these landlords, they took a big beating, because there was no government assistance out there to help them. They was helping all the people pay the rent, but they wasn't paying the rent. They were just pocketing the money and getting away with it. And I always told the ones that I knew that was doing it, I said, "You're making a mistake. You're really making a mistake, because it's going to come back and bite you on the butt. Because if you go through all this and you can't repay all that, you'll never have an opportunity to ever rent again." Because they're all sticking to their guns. They'll tell you just to go sleep under a bridge somewhere, because they just don't care, because it's just how valuable and how it's just so much in demand right now. The housing apparently is so short. The prices and stuff are just skyrocketing. But anyway, God bless all of you. That's just a little update for the ministry for you. I know a lot of people want to hear about the ministry, and I try to bring those on as much as possible. But I've been trying to do other things, and I'm just trying to find something that people will watch, that I can get the numbers for. But anyway, hey, God bless you. Have a great day.